So the question was about the 14 protected islands and why those islands. So I assume at that point when they were decided to be protected, those were the hot spots for nesting, especially for green turtles. The islands listed, they were considered the hot spots where most of the nests were being laid. But I'm not sure if a countrywide survey was done to determine that, or if this was just from word of mouth knowledge. Yeah, and whether that's being enforced, I'm not sure. A lot of people don't even know that these particular islands are even protected.
My question is, so far in the Maldives, has the conservation effort been successful in terms of the sightings of sea turtles?
Only running the program for a couple years, it's difficult to say. Turtles being a long-lived species, you need to do long-term studies to see if their populations are increasing or decreasing. It's certainly getting a lot of people interested and a lot of people involved, which contributes to conservation, of course. But really, a more in-depth study and a long-term study would have to be done to know if the conservation efforts at the moment are being effective. So the question was how to share the data. So the easiest way is on Facebook. There's a page, if you search for Maldives Turtle ID, you can submit your photos there. Additionally, I can give you my contact information and you can send them to me. And I share the results on the Facebook page every month. I make a report on how many turtles have been seen and where the top spots are. So I've made the data public in that way so anyone can access it. I'm not sure because that would come from the government side. But even so, even the renewal of a law, it's again just a law on paper. So there needs to be enforcement of that law going with it. So I'm sure you know killing of sea turtles happens all the time, and nobody wants to tell on their brother or their neighbor. So there is a fine associated with killing a turtle, but I've never heard of anybody being fined. I don't know if anybody here has ever heard of that. So it's not enforced. So if you have a law, you have to have enforcement along with it, or else it's ineffective. So that would be the most important amendment to do. If the turtles are extinct, what's the disturbance in the ecosystem? Well, it depends on the type of turtle. So the hawksbill turtle is the predator of sponge. So if the hawksbill turtles are no longer there, the sponges will start to take over the coral reef. It will outcompete the corals, so push the corals out of the space. And the corals provide homes for fish, for invertebrates. So eventually, without the turtles, you'll have more sponges, which leads to less coral, less fish, and less invertebrates on the reef. The green turtles, they're important for seagrass health. So without seagrass, you don't have the nursery for the fish that are important economically. So like the jackfish and the groupers, things like that. So that may affect the population of them. And then I showed the picture of the jellyfish. So we can have explosions of jellyfish without leatherback and loggerhead turtles. Getting there, especially with people working at resorts, because they can see firsthand how excited the guests get, especially with a hatching event, or if they see a turtle on the reef, you can tell them the story of the turtle. So the people that see firsthand, they're getting involved. But with local communities, it's hard. It's hard to show them the results, I guess, in the tourism aspect if they're not there to see it. it's been difficult with the nesting, especially with turtle eggs. Again, nobody wants to tell on their neighbor about taking nests, taking eggs, so it's a work in progress there. But coming, yeah. Yes, an injured turtle, what to do if you find an injured turtle. Actually, next week's seminar will focus particularly on that, injured turtles, marine debris, and what to do if you find an injured turtle. So right now, the place for injured turtles to go is Four Seasons Landagiravaru. Again, you can find information on Facebook, on the Olive Ridley Facebook page. You can find a phone number for Four Seasons. And what to do if you do find an injured turtle. So normally it's best not to try to administer medical attention or give it food. It's best to call people with training. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, that will be next week's seminar. Yeah, so the question was what to do if, somebody's keeping a turtle or taking eggs. So if they are keeping a turtle as a pet, usually it's in quite poor conditions, the ones I've seen, in a well or in a bathtub. So you can explain to them what they're doing to the turtle. I mean, turtles are cute. I can see why people want to keep them as pets. They are really cute. But generally people aren't taking care of them properly. So you can explain to them the turtle's proper diet. You can tell them it is actually against the law to be keeping the turtle as a pet in your home, and that what they're doing will put the turtle more at risk when you release it. So nobody wants to release their pet turtle knowing that a shark's going to come along and eat it because it doesn't have the muscle development or the health to be able to get away from that. So I don't know, for me that would be enough to convince me. But again, if people have pet turtles, both Four Seasons properties accepts people's pets. We keep them in our pools to give them more strength, feed them good food, and then release them after we know that they're a bit stronger and able to fend for themselves. So that's an option as well if they want to hand over their pet. Taking eggs, unfortunately, it is legal. So you can't tell them it's against the law unless they're taking it from one of these 14 islands. So the natural survival rate of a turtle hatchling is 1 in 1,000. So turtles have a very, very low survival rate naturally. And they take a very long time to reach maturity. So by taking those eggs, you're reducing their survival rate even more. So out of a beach 10 nests, maybe one of those hatchlings is going to survive. So if you take all the eggs, then none of the hatchlings are going to survive. So yes, but the eggs is a hard one because it's not actually illegal. At the moment, I believe the government is thinking about, with the renewal next year, incorporating at least more islands into the egg harvest ban. Certainly there should, because there's islands that I know of that have a number of nests on them that aren't protected. So hopefully this will be included in the ban next year.